There's multiple types of school sexual abuse. There's student on student, or what we call peer on peer sexual abuse, but there's also employee on student sexual abuse. There's two different categories, really. There's like non-physical sexual abuse as well as physical sexual abuse. Physical sexual abuse, we more consider things where there's actual physical contact. The non-physical abuse that people tend to think, well, that's not that bad, at least it didn't get physical. It still has a very serious impact, and it's things like inappropriate communications, soliciting pictures, videos, soliciting sexualized communications, classic grooming behaviors within the context of sexual abuse, such as emotional manipulation, disingenuous trust building, or trying to influence with a power dynamic that we see so often in employee and student cases. Where we see schools being complicit in this is not being proactive enough and looking at red flags and seeing them dead on their face and then wanting to just ignore them. So schools not doing enough to look into the background of employees, not doing enough to recognize things that are warning signs and putting a stop to the behavior or putting a stop to that employee being around kids, that's being complicit. It's important to litigate them, not just to get justice for that individual victim and their family, but it's important because it creates vigilance within the community. The idea is to curb this horrific statistic of sexual abuse that's occurring within our school districts every which way we can, and showing school districts that they're going to have to answer for it is helping curb that, not just for the victim and their family, but for all children, not only in that school district and that very school itself, but also all around our country and our world, because we're holding people accountable. Without accountability, no one's going to change. And that's why it's important to litigate these cases, because it makes sure that we are pushing forward to always be better in advance to protect children, protect students better. We support survivors and victims in a multitude of ways. So it's everything from just picking up the phone and answering questions, listening, providing that space where they feel like they can talk in confidence and get just real advice and genuine advice, and have someone that they can talk to, they can vent to, that will be there for them. But also helping them, guide them through criminal investigations and understanding how those processes play out, because it's not like you see on TV. We're not trying to force a solution upon a survivor or victim. We're listening to what their needs are, we're proposing options, and we're respecting what they say. What this is about is restoring power, restoring a voice, and restoring control to our clients, and not making them feel like they just jumped on a runaway train that they don't have control over. We provide a space where there's no judgment, there's information, security, protection, and respect.